Hey guys, back with another ChatGPT entrepreneur. This time we are talking to Ntabi. She is a freelance graphic designer. She's got a one-man shop turning over about 400,000 Rand per annum, which is pretty solid for a one-man setup. The business is solid. She's got some really good clients, some of them even on a retainer. But the challenge she's got is that being a one-man shop, the business it sometimes keeps her so busy that she's got very little time for work-life balance, and as a result she's dealing with a hell of a lot of stress, and essentially she's on the verge of burnout. So essentially the questions that Ntabi is trying to get an answer to are: how can I strike that balance and put in place some sort of boundaries between my personal life and my work without necessarily compromising the quality of the work? Are there any sort of tools or techniques that I can use to manage my time and my stress? So my view around this, like, work-life balance is a lie, sort of. Okay, no, it's not really. But in all seriousness, that fine line that you walk between work and personal life, that balance really deteriorates when you find yourself doing a lot of task switching. Now, when you are an entrepreneur running a one-man business like a freelancer, like, the number of tasks that you have to switch between are insane. And this goes up exponentially for each individual hat that you have to wear. So if you have to be the marketer, you have to be the designer, you have to be the finance person, you have to go home and be a daughter, father, son, whatever the situation is, like, all of those things just compound the stress and difficulty that comes with the task switching, and in turn the work-life balance just goes to shit, basically. So my recommendation in a scenario like this is that you need to create some sort of framework that works for you, that allows you to clearly define all of these roles that you're playing in your life, and structure your life in such a way that the switching in between tasks is as seamless as possible. The less time, energy, and mental capacity you spend on figuring out, okay, I need to switch from this task to that, what needs to happen, the less stress and burnout you are likely to feel. So this, for me, is coming from a place where I also found myself in recent years kind of struggling with this question of, like, how do I find this balance? How do I manage burnout? And I took a step back and I asked myself, like, what is the thing that is actually causing all of the stress and burnout? And what I concluded was, essentially every time I had to switch between some sort of task or role that I was playing, I'd find myself asking the question, okay, I'm in dad mode now, what now? Right? Or I am at work, what now? Or I need to be entrepreneur, what now? What is that next step that needs to happen? And that was always the thing that really delayed that task switching and really prevented me from getting onto the next task and just getting things cleared off my plate. So once I figured that out, I kind of asked myself, typically, what is the thing that actually needs to happen next to the task? And I found myself coming up with a 3-letter acronym, CAD. C stands for create, A stands for action, and D stands for delegate. And essentially what I found is that whenever I am faced with some sort of task, I need to do one of those three things. Either I need to create something, a document, a website, a PowerPoint, a piece of furniture, or I need to action something. So I'll need to respond to an email, I'll need to sign off an invoice, I'll need to approve a design. Or lastly, if I'm not creating or actioning anything, then I need to delegate that to the right person to then action or execute whatever that particular task was. And so that's how I wound up with CAD. So I use this to try and clarify what my task list is, and it makes it a bit easier for me to switch in between these tasks. And the great thing about it is that I can throw stuff from my personal life in there, from my work life, from myself as an entrepreneur. All of this stuff can sit on my CAD list. Now, how you go about implementing this system is you essentially make a comprehensive list of every single task that you've got on your task list, and then you group them accordingly. Group them in terms of everything that requires you to create something. So anything that needs you to have some sort of output when you're done doing the task, put that all under your create bucket. Then you're going to list everything that requires you to take some sort of action, right? So if you have to send an email, you have to review a document, you have to approve or sign off whatever it is you need to do, group that all under the action bucket. And then lastly, anything that doesn't fall in either of these two lists, put under your delegate bucket. Next up, you want to put a deadline and a priority level to each of these tasks within each of these buckets. That way, whenever you are completed with the one and you need to move on to the next one, it's very quick and easy for you to be able to see, okay, this is the immediate next task that I need to get completed. Now, there is no such thing as a perfect work-life balance. Even I'm still trying to figure out how to really be effective with this CAD system. But what I've learned in the process is that the most important thing is for you to prioritize the things that help you to show up for yourself, right? So the things that put you in a better space mentally, physically, emotionally, spiritually, whatever other league you can think of, those are the things you need to try and make sure you're keeping on top of your list. And guys, remember, this, like, it's all trial and error. You're gonna make mistakes, and if you're not winning, it's perfectly fine. Take your L, fail, learn, adapt, and try again.